My name's Ben Voss and I still write the Lightwave documentation. I wanted to show you the graph editor today, and the best way to do that is to actually have something that needs the graph editor. So let's start with just some simple text. I hit P to go into properties, and in object replacement I choose text generator. Let's hit the P here to go into the properties for that and make sure that the spelling for Lightwave is correct. And let's just hit real time to make sure that we can see it all the time. I'm going to go in here and type enter to choose amongst my many fonts to get a better typeface. And lastly, I'm going to make bones. Now that I have some bones, I can start animating them. Let's close this as well. And in fact, to be frank, we'll turn them off at least, so that they don't disturb my view of what's going on. Zoom in. Okay, now I have my bones. I want to animate those so I can show you the graph editor. So let's select all of the bones and hit Ctrl F2 to bring up the graph editor. You can also find it from here. Okay, I now have all my bones and they have all the channels. I don't need all the channels. The only channel I need is going to be position Z for this particular animation. So let's start off by creating a favorite set of my bones. That way, if I close this down and I'm in lights, for instance, I can still go back into the graph editor and bring up my bone favorite set. Furthermore, the only bones I require from this favorite set are actually the position Z bones, these ones. So I can actually go in and hit filter or W on the keyboard to bring up a selection key. So if I hit star Z, for instance, then I'll get all my positions, but I'll also get scales, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to hit W again, select your bones, and then hit W, and then choose star N dot capital Z. This gives me just the position Zs of my bones. And tell you what, let's save that as a filter as well. Save it as a favorite set. Create favorite set. Bones underscore pos Z. Why not? Again, that way, whatever object I'm in, I can select all my bones. Now, here in the graph editor, another thing I want to show you is that I can create a new key in here by simply double clicking on the line I've got for my motion. As you can see, this bright blue line here. So if I double click here, that gives me a new key, and I can move this key for all of my values like so, and right click to select them all with the bounding box and move this up so that I have more of a motion that goes between 2 meters back to 2 meters in front. Another thing to bear in mind when you are doing motions, you really want them to have some kind of ease in and ease out for the animation to look smooth. Here in this case, I can just see I've got a linear motion path. So here we can set my tension to 1, and that gives us ease in and ease out. We can also do it a different way. If you hit the F1 key, you should see a T appear here, and the next click you do with the mouse button, if you click to the right, that will do the same thing, set your tension. If you want to set continuity, that's with F2, and bias is with F3. I'll go into those things in a different video. Okay, so We now have our nice smoothed in, smoothed out animation. However, I want to offset all the different letters. So I'm just going to go in and select these all and control click to move them in the time. If I didn't control click, if I just clicked and dragged, it would move them in space, which we don't want. So I'm just going to go through here and click through the rest of them. We'll speed up this little bit of video. Now, if I have a look at my view, obviously I've got all these keys set up with the last one around 90. So let's just change this to 100 frames so we can see. Okay. Let's also add some motion blur to this amazingly impressive animation. So we'll have these things coming forward. Motion blur only works in the camera view and with the camera. So let's just set motion blur on, and we'll set it to something immense so that you can really see it here with 250% motion blur. This means that the blur will occur from the start and past the end. Okay, so I'm still not seeing motion blur. That's because I'm not in camera view. Oh, but our camera view is set to face on because that's where our camera is. We could move the camera, we could jog it around. However, it's faster and easier to simply get our perspective view roughly where we want it, and then go in here, match viewport perspective, selected camera, and you should see the frustum that's displayed here in the background jump. Boom. And if I hit 6 on the numeric keypad, we'll see that I am now in my camera view. And I can see that motion blur. Whee! This is great. This is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so let's have a look and see if we can see that motion blur. If I hit F9, just to do a quick render. Yep, there it is, no problem. How about in VPR? Well, you can go here to VPR. Ah, there is motion blur. Okay, by default, VPR is set to draft mode. Watch out for this. This will not allow you to see your motion blur. Okay, that's about it. Control F9 to go into or come out of VPR. And that's our scene.